Game number 4 in Delegation, we are going to change it up to ZVZs going right out the gates there, and we are going to switch on into a PVT.
That's right. Do we want to give away a code real quickly? Before,
Oh yes, Delegation, please do.
All right. Well, real quick, without much further ado, we do have giveaways going on, and if you are not aware, you can find that right in the bot in chat, or go to SC2CTL.com/giveaway. If you're unfamiliar, we've been giving away items all season long. It's been a lot of fun. And there is one item left up for grabs. It is the Corsair mechanical keyboard provided by Mythologic in participation with, or cooperation rather, with Corsair. So you can still enter to win that prize. All you need to do is go to that link, follow whatever pages you want. You will get an additional entry for each code that you enter if you follow those things, so you can get up to 5 or 6 entries per code that you enter. The first code for this evening is going to be Anna. That's A-N-N-A. And I will type that into chat.
Yep, and you have to wait for the second code to see the funny reference behind that. Troy, so creative. Maybe. Hashtag not really. But alas, that code will enter you to win that pretty awesome prize. We'll be giving that away during the live final show coming up June 28th. We are going to be hosting that live played games between all of the players in that final. We're going to see one player that will advance into that live final here tonight at the end of this match, either in Seed or MicroGamerZ. Which one will it be? No one knows yet. We will find out soon. Yep. Yeah. But let's jump on into game number 4. What do you say, Delegation?
I would love to do just that.
So, do you have some handy bios for us this evening?
Do I indeed?
So we have Bones and Simoto K.
That's right. So Bones is Miles Donald. He's 19 and he's from Ontario. He's played casually for a while, but got serious in 2012 and achieved Grandmaster in 2013. Considers himself to play a very heavy macro style. He's played for the team of Nightmares, Triumph Esports, Clarity Gaming, and now is the captain of Root Seed. He's made 3rd and 4th place in Season 1 of the Breakout Invitational, being bested by Saravati, and has won 1st in Golan's APM League tournament. And this is going to be a PvP, I believe. Is that correct?
It is.
PvT. Sorry, PvT. So he's got a 56% win rate against that. His opponent this evening, as you said, is going to be C. Motok. And Motok is a Korean top 100 Grandmaster Terran player. He has recently joined MicroGamerZ after leaving his previous team. You can find him at twitter.com/SC2MOTOK and twitch.tv/CMOTOK.
And let's see what he can do in the game as we jump into Merry-Go-Round LE. On the left side of the map, it is going to be representing Root Seed. It is Bones.
And on the right-hand side of the map, representing Team MicroGamerZ, it is Motok. So we're going to be seeing the first game this evening that doesn't feature the Zerg race.
Yeah, and 2 ZVZs right off the bat. Definitely interesting. I love ZVZ, but too much of it numbs my brain a little bit, so it's nice to switch it up here a little bit as we move into the Protoss race, which is definitely cool to me. Oh, yeah, there's Terrans in here, too. Sorry, Troy. I don't want to forget that, but it looks like we're going to have a merry-go-round map, which, if you don't already know, which most of you probably do, there is a 3rd spawn on it, so it's not exactly known where your opponent's going to be. It's one of the few maps, the only 3-player map I believe that's ever been made, but one of the few maps in the pool where you don't actually know where your opponent is, so it does affect some of the cheeses. But interesting with Terran, we've actually seen a couple proxies so far this season where they just build in the middle of the map and scout while they got a couple barracks going down, as it does shorten that distance quite a bit and has been pretty nasty if you don't scout that stuff out.
That has indeed, but it looks like we're not going to be going down that route today. It looks like we're going to be seeing just good old Reapers, as Bones is sending a probe across the map trying to figure out where his opponent is taking that turn south, and that is not where he's going to be finding the information he wants.
It is very smart to hit up that tower first, because you may just find a scout from your opponent coming across and be able to deduce his position from that. But no scout was had this day for Season2CTL. Not sure exactly what to call him, but we're going to go with that, as he is just going to scout with that Reaper once it comes out. Looks actually he's going to send his SCV across after it's done building that barracks. But Reapers, honestly, Galgation, I hate them right now. They are getting on my nerves so much. So many of the builds are disrupted by these Reapers getting in and ruining my life.
Yeah, they do like to get in there and kill some workers pretty early on, and they do not seem to die.
No, they have this thing that heals them.
Yes, yes they do. But Motok, I'm going to call him Motok. You can call him Season2CTL if you'd like.
I do prefer
Is now
Season2CTL.
moving into the mineral line of Bones, trying to get an idea of all the things that are going on. Does see that cybernetics core finished up, does see that gateway, and will be seeing this natural as it's moving on down.
Yeah, that is a kind of a ballsy expansion here, but he did see the expansion of Season2CTL going down as well, so going to be just kind of keeping himself on par. There's an early eBay coming down for Season2CTL as well. I would think it's fairly unlikely that this is a sort of a reaction to a... you see a lot of Terrans making this eBay early to get the turrets against a quick Stargate for Oracles, but I mean, he saw the expansion, so that's almost impossible at this point. So likely going to be for some early upgrades, but we will see here as the Mothership core is out and is going to shoo away this here Reaper. He did get one kill, it looks like, so... did get a little bit of value out of that. He's going to heal up here before he jumps on in, but mostly just getting all that scouting done, which Bones does not have the luxury of doing right now.
That's right. The Reaper did clean up that probe that was in the Terran base before it was able to get a whole lot down, specifically that forward pylon, so he's going to have to get another one down if he wants to do that. The Stalker is now out and at the front of the Naturals ramp, and that is going to bid the Reaper adieu.
Wow, Galgation, this is quite the interesting, aggressive-looking build we've got out of Season2CTL here, as he's got this eBay down with +1 attack, approaching about a third done. That first barracks had a reactor built on it immediately with a second barracks follow-up. He is getting gas, it looks like purely only for the upgrades at this point, as he doesn't really have anything else that requires the gas. Putting on a tech lab now, to get the eventual stim and combat shields, but it looks like Season2CTL is going to want to make a really quick push here with that +1.
Absolutely, he's going to be trying to get some neat little timing out here. He is building his Marine force as 8 are on the field, but more are in production. He's immediately getting stim as he continues to build Marines.
Yeah, that +1's getting close, so I mean, obviously I'd expect him to start moving out here, which he is. Stim probably not going to be quite done by the time he gets over there, but Stim is pretty, you have to really use that gingerly with no medevacs and no combat shield, because it does do quite a bit of damage, but it looks like a couple Stalkers are going to walk themselves right into a little bit of trouble here. Takes a couple shots at some Marines, but does not get a kill. So now holding this tower, he's going to have to be real careful here, as Micro with a couple Stalkers can actually do quite a bit of damage to some Marines, especially without that combat shield.
Yeah, but I think that Motok there is just waiting for that +1 upgrade, which does not finish. And the Stalkers decide they did not want to engage that, so they're running on home. More Marines are gathering at the top of the ramp in the natural expansion for our Terran player.
Oh, quite a lot of tech coming out from Bones here. A Twilight Council and a robotics bay at the same exact time.
Not entirely sure which direction he wants to go, it seems.
My guess would be, I'm just going to make a guess so that I can officially be wrong once again. I'm going to say Blink Stalkers and Colossus as something we've really seen quite a bit lately. MC has been using it, using Blink especially quite a lot against the Terrans, which has been kind of wrecking some faces lately, but definitely usually more of an early Blink build. But the Blink along with Colossus is definitely good in combating them Vikings. But there's a probe moving up on the top here, potentially to put down a proxy pylon of some point to support a push from Bones. But yes, Blink is coming down. I was correct on that guess finally one time. And the Stalkers are going to be coming out here to check if those Marines are still holding the tower, which they are. That smoke ring actually pretty cool there, because those Stalkers actually can't see those Marines until they're well inside the range of the Marines.
That's right. So We do have a swap going on now, as the starport is going to be going on to a reactor that is going to be start mass producing medevacs to support these Marines, as Stimpack has just finished up. Combat Shield is in production, and that infantry armor level 1's about half done.
Yeah, +1 now just starting for Bones. He's going to have Colossus and Blink here finished up before too long. I feel like Season2 needs to push like a couple minutes ago, because once this Colossus comes out, and he's not actually started range yet, but he's going to have 1 to 2 Colossus here. At this point, by the time Season2 pushes with the sentries, is going to be pretty terrible for him. And Bones has an observer on this army, so he's going to know exactly what's coming. I definitely feel like Season2 had a window, and I feel like it's gone. What do you think, Allegation?
Well, you know, I mean, he is going to be having these medevacs arriving now. He's got 2 moving with this army. He's got Stimpack done. Combat Shield isn't quite done yet, but he's got to be real careful about this Colossus. That's the big thing that he's got to worry about here. But if he's able to stim up...
I feel like the big thing he's got to worry about here are these 2 sentries that have at least, it looks like about 3 to 4 force fields right now.
Well, yeah, they're going to keep him out, but the Colossus is the thing that's going to be doing the damage. I mean, he could just as easily lift up and just do 2 split drops, too, with these 2 medevacs.
He is just starting to put down concussive shields. It looks like he's waiting for the shield to finish, but I mean, that Observer of Bones is the money shot right now. He's keeping tabs on exactly what Season2 is doing, and he is not known that yet, but he did not see this drop here, so this actually could be a little bit scary. Season2 actually taking a good move here, as I don't think he would have made it up that ramp in a million years, but this drop has been pretty successful here, taking out a pylon, going to try and take out a stalker, but Photon Overcharge goes down. Doesn't really get that much damage done. I thought he might have gotten a little more, but it looks like there was a little bit of hesitation once he dropped there.
And it looks like Bones actually kind of anticipated what was going to be going on here, as Motoc's remainder forces that weren't able to fit in there do stim forward, force the cancel on that 3rd expansion, but they are being actively chased away by this army for Bones. Yeah. Force field goes down, not able to get a whole lot.
A little bit of a random force field there, not really anywhere near the army, but Season2 definitely trying to poke back in here to get some additional damage. And I mean, because he got really aggressive with his upgrades there. And it seemed like it was meant for quite the timing push, but it didn't really happen. And Bones just really on top of it right now. And mostly I think it had to do with his scouting and that observer. Surprised.
Oh, yeah, he did definitely do a lot of scouting. But, you know, I wouldn't count Motok out yet. He does have more medevacs entering the army. He's continuing to resupply. And frankly, Bones doesn't really have a army that can really move out at this point. If he tries to move out and be aggressive at all, Motok's able to really punish that with the amount of drops that he has the capability of doing.
Yeah, it looks like he's just kind of holding himself in the center here. I really like what Bones is doing, getting that 3rd base, and you know, he's still just coming down with all the tech. He's moving into the army he wants. He's getting charged. He's getting +2/+2, getting ahead in the upgrades here actually a bit, as looks like +2 is a little bit ahead for Bones. But now getting Colossus is going to be going for Templar with Storm, and Charge is about half done, so I really like what Bones has going on here. But the bio for Season2 is continuing to grow, especially with those mines loading up in those medevacs, Gallagher.
That's right, he's trying to get some damage done. He needs to. I mean, you're absolutely right. If this continues, then Bones is going to be able to get into a very, very good position that Season2 does not want to let happen.
Splitting up here a little bit, and this is definitely intelligent on his part. He's going to be doing a drop in the main base and moving into the 3rd with a small unit here. But these units of Bones are still hanging out here. And I mean, Season2 doesn't really have any AoE besides those mines, and that Colossus is still going to be able to do a whole lot. But there's quite a bio contingency here in the main base of Bones, and not really wanting to commit with that Colossus just yet. He is trying to push it back a little bit, but taking quite a bit of damage. Photon Overcharge goes down, as well as additional warpins.
That's right, but Moto gets on out of there as another force moves into the 3rd, but Bones kind of anticipated once again, as there are Colossi there, and Season2 forced to just jump on into those medevacs and get out of dodge.
Yeah, Blink definitely going to be useful here. Doesn't look like there's Vikings on the field yet, but 2 are on their way out now. He's producing medevacs for quite a bit, but now seeing the number of Colossus growing, he has to get that number of Vikings up to be able to hold on. Season2 is going to be just kind of landing here in the middle and reinforcing with quite a large number of bio units, as he does have now a decent number of Vikings as well. But it looks like Bones wants to take the engagement here. He does have a pretty good force, an Archon, 5 Colossus delegation, 5 Colossus with the Archons, with the sentries. With the proper engagement, he can really do a lot of damage here. This Colossus is getting a little bit aggressive there.
But now the Vikings are there doing some damage, and the Stalkers looks like they blinked back there as they were taking some damage from the bio. So Vikings aren't able to take down these Colossus quite as quickly as they want. This bio for Motok is going down very quickly, and Bones is able to take that engagement. Motok forced to move on back, but Ghosts have entered his army now.
Oh, but these Ghosts are a little bit out of position there. Does get one EMP off, takes the shields off of those Archons, but they did get cornered by the Zealots there a little bit with the Stalkers blinking up and the SCVs being pulled. Vikings landing. It's looking like Simoto is having a rough time here. He's going to boost on up into the main base, but those Stalkers are going to take out this third base here and eventually push on up, it looks like.
So it looks like Qualia SC has confirmed that the pronunciation of Motok is in fact Motok. So, just FYI.
Thanks. You're right again, Gallegation.
Bones moving up the ramp here, and Motok has got his units together. Yeah, it does stim forward, try and push back. Bones does see that EMP and is running back, trying to get a better position here. And now we're playing a little bit of Ring Around the Rosie, it seems.
Yeah, I think with without that EMP, Motok would have been in a bit of a rougher situation, but he did land it directly in the middle of Bones' army, and you just can't push up with no shields on any of the units. But he's just fine with that, as he knows he has a lead. He has definitely got the upgrade advantage. +2/+2 is done. +3/+3 is on the way. While it looks like Motok is only getting plus weapons for his bio and plus weapons for his mech. Also, though, he doesn't have a lot of mech on the field. Looks like just for the Vikings, it appears. But I have a feeling Bones is going to be laying off the Colossus here and going more for the Templar with Storm and the Archons. So those upgrades for the mech are not going to be too useful just yet. But we'll see if he ends up producing anything else. But the army of Bones here definitely getting scary, and he's taking a fourth base to continue his economic advantage here as well.
That's right. It looks like Motok is now splitting up his army, though. There's a number of units that were kind of running into very dangerous space. Does throw down a scan and says, "Oh my!" But there is a drop moving across the map that is quite substantial, and it looks like it is not going to be seen till just now. And suddenly Bones' army is quite out of position, but is going to be able to do that mass recall. And it looks like Motok is actually just going to engage it.
Yeah, that Colossus was taken out before the recall was even cooled down, but nonetheless, that army of Bones is really huge, especially those Archons and Charge Lots do a ton of damage, especially with the upgrade advantage they have now with +3 just finishing up. And Bones is going to push up into the main base, but without a ton of units there after that recall is going to have to push on back. There are Ghosts here, but it looks like they have pretty low energy right now.
Yeah, they do indeed. Motok's going to have to get something done here, though, as his opponent is on 4 bases, and currently Motok is only mining from 2. That does not bode well for him, as you might imagine. The supply is kind of telling the story here as well, as Bones is up quite a bit on his opponent. And but Motok has regained control of the map somewhat.
Bones here has 4 Zealots at the third base of Motok, not giving him any room to breathe whatsoever. He's going to have to pull his entire force back here to deal with that, while Bones is just kind of going in for the SCVs, continuing to try and whittle down that advantage, or the economy of Motok, to extend his advantage. And looks like he's had 40 total worker kills by Bones so far.
Absolutely, yeah. There's 2 more Zealots in the natural, too. He was not satisfied to just attack at one position, and one still remains. Motok was not able to clean that one up. Still hasn't noticed it, and it continues to be effective. Yeah. But Motok now moving into this 4th base.
Yeah, Motok is going to have to really position this well, because the army of Bones here is super scary with +3/+3 completed. Yes, Motok has +3 attack, but his armor is quite low here. He does not have an armor upgraded even kept even, but those Ghosts trying to kind of stay on the fringe of his army there to try and land some EMPs. If he can do that, those do so much shield damage there, but he just does not feel comfortable moving. Looks like he's going to load up and try and send another drop to the main. Definitely not a bad idea, but I mean, Motok now, after that drop takes off, his army is so tiny.
Yeah, it really is. Bones did try another Zealot run by and does succeed to get some into the 3rd base. The ones that were headed for the natural did not get a whole lot done, but in the meantime, that army of Motok is in the main, continuing to try and plug away. It looks like they're trying to take down a Colossus as it popped out and not quite able to get it done. as the rest of Bone, or a small contingency of Bones' army does show up to chase that away.
I feel like he was trying to bait another recall from Bones here to try and prevent an attack from going down, which didn't end up working out. It looks like because a number of warped-in zealots there was able to handle that along with the Colossus that did pop out. And those charge lots, man, they are the bane of a bio army without armor upgrades here, man. Those do so much damage, especially when they can charge up on the army. Now the Colossus number has grown again, and look at the Archons Gallegation. There are 7 Archons sitting here. Ooh. I don't see any Templar with Storm, but I mean the AoE just between the Colossus and the Archons is pretty insane. There are a good number of ghosts here with a lot of energy, so if Moto gets in here, it looks like he does land a sick EMP on almost the entire army of Bones. So once again, trying to engage here, and he's going to have to push back because even though he has a huge army, you just cannot engage that with no shields and half of your hit points gone.
That's absolutely right. He was even trying to hallucinate some of those Colossus to make the army look even more imposing if it needed even boosting that way. It looks like Motok has finally decided he's going to try and figure out where all these zealots coming from. Does find a forward pylon in the north, but he does not know about the other 3 that are surrounding his base. He is quite contained here.
It looks like Bones is starting to transition into some airplay here, as he does have a fleet beacon coming down and starting his air upgrades. What do you expect? Do you expect to see Tempest out of this?
Well, yeah, I mean, any number of things could be coming out. He's starting to sack some probes here as well. He's got like 7 probes that are just running right on in.
Yeah, he's at 200 right now, so he can't really produce anything unless he frees up some economy. And those probes actually getting some marine kills there.
Yeah, they really are.
That plus attack upgrade is really effective for the probes Gallegation.
they do appear to be. Motok now pulling a lot of his own SCVs moving forward here. Going to be doing some massive repairs, it looks like, and trying to pull. Yeah, he's just going for it right now, man. He's just doing this all-in type thing.
I mean, he kind of
across the map.
He kind of doesn't have it. Oh, man, the allegation. I feel like he was doing a good job with those drops and kind of keeping Bones back. And I almost thought he was getting into a position where he, oh, nice snipe there, was kind of coming back into it. But now I just don't think this push is very smart. But let's be honest, his economy has been completely decimated by the zealots of Bones.
Now we do see some High Templar doing some feedbacks on those. The Ghost was able to kill one of those, but it looks like some feedbacks are going down, and this is just not going to be a great engagement for Motok. He's going to try his best, though. Those EMPs are going down. The Vikings are actually doing a great job of taking down those Colossus, but Storms are going down like crazy, and the bio for Motok is evaporating very quickly to this AoE.
Oh man, I totally wish I had the Roddy soundboard working. Troy said it didn't work because I want to hit that Protoss button right now. But that was a really sick game by Bones. I mean, he kind of got the advantage right away. He's very greedy, I thought, on his tech early, and getting that Twilight and the Robo Bay right away to get Blink and Colossus. But yeah, I really also liked what Motok was doing with kind of doing those drops at just the right time, to right when Bones wanted to push out and making him pull back, and then also between that and those sick EMPs. Whew.
Oh yeah, Motok was really trying to keep in it, but the thing that was, I think, the unsung hero of that game was just really the map awareness that Bones had. He was sending Zealot run-bys into 2 bases at once, was really able to deny a lot of mining, and during those drops, especially kind of towards the mid-game there, when Motok is trying to go into the main base but also trying to wrap around and hit that 3rd base, Bones isn't just committing his entire army to one location. He's taking enough to defend in the main base, but also, you know, defensively sending some down to the 3rd base and just kind of hanging out in between the 3rd base and the natural base. So when that other army wraps around, he's right there to defend it, and Motok's just not able to get a whole lot of damage done. And that was what really, I think, kept him back in the Stone Age, while Bones was able to just continue to grow his technology, grow his economy, and eventually get that giant Protoss ball that we saw there at the end.
Yeah, and, you know, like we said, I mean, you can't ever count Seed out of this. They were down 2-0 to start this out, but they have just won themselves 2 games, so that does tie it up 2-2. So we're now basically going into a best-of-3 to see who continues on to the semifinals of the SC2CTL playoffs, Gallegation.
That's right, we do indeed. And we'll be moving